Hello friends, I'm Miss Donna. Today I'm going to read to you from Maddi's Fridge. This book was written by Lois Brandt and illustrated by Vin Vogel. I hope you enjoy this book. It is a very special book about how to be a friend and also teaches us something about childhood hunger. This book is called Maddi's Fridge, written by Lois Brandt, illustrated by Vin Vogel. Here we see Maddi and Sophie in their neighborhood. There's a bookstore, grocery store, news station, lots of homes, and a city in the background. Maddi's Fridge. This book was dedicated, the author dedicated the book, it says, for Mom and Pop, and the illustrator dedicated it for Michael. When Sofia and Maddi played at the park, they stretched their toes to the sky. They climbed to the top of the ladder and flew off the end of the slide. They stayed until the buildings grew long shadows, and even the taxi stopped blinking. It must be the end of the day. Let's play on the climbing wall, Maddi said. No way, Sofia said. I can't reach. Yes way. Maddi scooped up to the top of the wall. Your turn. Sofia put a foot on the bottom rock, grabbed with one hand, and stretched. But she couldn't reach the next hold. Sofia's stomach growled. I give up. Let's go back and get a snack. No way, Maddi said. Let's stay here. Yes way. Sofia ran to Maddi's building and raced up the stairs. Wait! Maddi ran after her. Maddi was the best climber, but Sofia was the fastest runner. Sofia swung open the door of Maddi's fridge. What have you got? We have milk, Maddi said. I'm saving it for Ryan. He's still little. Why doesn't your mom go to the store? Sofia asked. We don't have the money. But what if you get hungry? We'll have some bread, Maddi said. I guess I'll go home to eat, Sofia said. Please don't tell anyone, Maddi said. Okay. Promise? I promise. Sofia ran home past the bookstore and the grocery store, and the sun went behind the buildings and took all the colors with it. Good thing, Mom said. Dinner's almost ready. Luis was wrestling on the floor with Pepito. Sofia opened up the refrigerator door. Pepito peeked inside. Sofia's fridge was full of milk and eggs and tortillas and cheese and lettuce and jam and salsa and tofu and even half a can of dog food. They have what they need. Here you go, Mom said. Sofia and Luis each had a plate of fish and rice. Mom had a plate of fish and rice. Even Pepito had his bowl of dog food with a little bit of fish and rice. Maddi and Ryan only had some bread and a small carton of milk. Sofia couldn't tell Mom. She had to keep her promise to Maddi. That's what's on her mind. She's thinking of her friend. Not fish again, Luis said. I want cheesy pizza bombs. Cheesy pizza bombs are a treat, Mom said. Fish is a good source of protein. Is fish good for kids? Sofia asked. Yes, Mom smiled. Fish is perfect for kids. That night, Sofia had an idea. Ooh, looks like she's putting some fish inside her backpack. Yuck, Maddi said the next day. Oh, said Sofia, double yuck. Fish may be good for kids, but fish is not good for backpacks. After school, Sofia and Maddi raced to the climbing wall. Sofia got there first, but Maddi scrambled past her to the top of the wall. Sofia stretched stretched and stretched. Keep trying, Maddi said. You'll get it. I can't. Sofia jumped down. It's too high. That night, Sofia, Lois, and Mom ate frittata. Pepito had his dog food with a little bit of frittata in it. Maddi and Ryan still had an empty refrigerator. Sofia couldn't ask for help. That would break her promise. She had to try again. Are eggs good for kids? Sofia asked. Not as good as cheesy pizza bombs, Louis said. Cheesy pizza bombs are a treat, Mom said. Eggs are good for you. After dinner, Sofia packed eggs for Maddi and Ryan. Yuck, Maddi said. Double yuck, Sofia said. Eggs may be good for kids, but eggs are not good for backpacks. Sofia and Maddi raced to the climbing wall. Sofia won again, but Maddi shot past her up to the top of the wall. Sofia grabbed one hold and reached for the next and came down with a thump. That happens sometimes, Maddi called. This is impossible, Sofia said. Keep trying, Maddi said. You'll get it. That night, Sofia and Lois and Mom had burritos. Pepito had his dog food with a little bit of burrito and no salsa. Maddi and Ryan still had an empty fridge. Sofia's getting sad and frustrated. Sofia wished she hadn't promised Maddi. Are burritos good for kids? Sofia asked. Burritos are very good for you, Mom said. Not as good as, Louis started to say. You should pay attention to nutrition like your sister, Mom said. The next morning, Sofia put 2 burritos in her backpack along with tortillas, beans, cheese, and even some milk. No thanks, Maddi said. You haven't even looked, Sofia said. Is it fish? Maddi asked. No. Is it eggs? No. Is it gross? I don't know, Sofia said. Maddi shook the backpack. Something sloshed. Let's look together, Maddi said. Okay, 1, 2, 3, go. Burritos are good for kids and good for backpacks, too. Do you want some milk? Sofia asked. Thanks, Maddi said, but I'll save the milk for Ryan. Sofia and Maddi raced to the climbing wall. Sofia won as usual and tried to climb. You can do it, Maddi said. Take my hand. Woohoo! I made it to the top, Sofia shouted. We're the tallest kids in the park, Maddi said. Thanks for helping me, Maddi. I couldn't have done it alone. Maddi shrugged. That's what friends are for. After they finished playing, Sofia walked past the bookstore and the grocery store. She thought and thought. Her own fridge was full of milk and juice and chicken and yogurt and bread and carrots and even half a can of dog food. Maddi's fridge only had 2 tortillas and a cup of beans and a bit of cheese and a little more milk than before. Sofia didn't want to break her promise, but she couldn't help Maddi alone. Sofia told. She hoped Maddi wouldn't be too mad. I'm glad you told me, Mom said. Let's see what we can do together. They loaded grocery bags with milk, flour, chicken, carrots, sugar, oil, and even frozen meat and vegetables. Louis pulled his package of cheesy pizza bombs out of the freezer. He thought and thought and thought some more. Then he put his cheesy pizza bombs in Maddi and Ryan's bags. For a treat, he said. At Maddi's apartment, the moms talked. Louis and Ryan played. Sofia and Maddi ran to the park. You broke a promise, Maddi said. I'm sorry, Sofia said. Are you mad? A promise is important, Maddi said. You're more important, Sofia said. I wanted you to have milk too. Maddi smiled. Are we still friends? Sofia asked. Always, Maddi said. Double always, Sofia said. Cheesy pizza bombs, Lois yellowed. Our moms made cheesy pizza bombs for a treat. Sofia and Maddi raced up the stairs. Sofia slowed down so they could run together. That's what friends are for. Friends, this page talks about all the things that we can do to help friends who have empty refrigerators. I'm going to hold that up to the camera now so you and your parents can read that. It tells us that 1 out of every 5 kids in the United States is at risk of having an empty refrigerator. And here are some things that you can do to help. You can pause the screen and write some of these things down. But in case you can't remember all the things, you can visit www.maddysfridge.com. And this is the name of the book. Friends, so this was Maddi's fridge. It is not easy sometimes to be a good friend, is it? Sophie certainly wanted to be a good friend to her friend Maddi when she was so sad to see how hungry Maddi and her family were. And she wanted to help, and she did try to do helpful things. These friends help each other. They encourage each other with their running and their climbing, and they're taking care of each other. And even finding fun. There was so many good ways to take care of each other. Friendship, hunger is a very sad thing. Nobody in our world should go hungry. But I loved this story because it helps us think about how we can take care of each other. I'm going to hold the back up one more time so your family can zoom in and really take a look at all the things they can do to help with childhood hunger. Thank you for reading Maddi's Fridge with me. I hope you take very good care of yourselves and go do something good.